there, Gemini, Gemini rising, and of course all of you Gemini moon people out there. This is your monthly astrological forecast for December 2021. And just a quick reminder, I am going to be touching on Venus retrograde and Jupiter retrograde a little bit in this video, but I do also have two videos where I go real deep on both. And so if you want to check those out, just go onto my main channel page and you can check out my major astrology shifts playlist. It's all there, or you can follow the links. I'll put that in the down bar below as well. If you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, and don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, because, engagement helps the channel out a lot. So speaking of Venus, we might as well start and see what's going on with Venus. Venus is in Capricorn all month long, so this is definitely going to be, one of the lead actors of December. Now, while Venus is going retrograde, Venus isn't retrograde all month. Venus doesn't go retrograde till the 19th. And so for the first 3 weeks or so of the month, we've got Venus direct, working in her light, right? The planet of favor, popularity, love, and affection in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, as well as intimacy and any kind of shared resources you might have with a partner in terms of their contribution to the household income and self-employment monies. Now with Venus here, you are attracting a lot of cool favors, especially when it comes to the financial sphere. This is a time where you're going to be noticing your supplemental income like tips, commissions, sales, anything to do with maybe bonus programs and whatnot are flying off the shelves with those big ticket items. You are really just rolling in it throughout the course of this month. You may be also noticing that your own works, your own credibility, what you are known for is also attracting a lot of new attention and a lot of new wealthy attention to yourself. This is also a time where when it comes to love and romance and just intimacy in general, things are much more open, much more free-flowing. You are attracting all kinds of new partners to yourself if you're single or available that are ideal matches for your personal love languages. Essentially, you are drawing in people who have the same love languages as you, especially when it comes to intimate compatibility or bedroom compatibility. Those of you who are currently coupled or in committed partnerships are going to be noticing a much more amorous nature in your partners as well, becoming a lot more involved, a lot more engaged, and also becoming a lot more personal. This is going to be a time where we can ignite a lot of fires, heat up a lot of pots that maybe just kind of got a bit tepid in recent history. And with Venus, it's all about bringing in more luxury. It's about bringing in more sensuality and just having a bit more of that sensory stimulation in love in general. So even if we have Venus going retrograde in the second half of the month, it doesn't mean we can't have a beautiful first half of the month. Now, once Venus goes retrograde, which will be on December 19th, which it will remain retrograde through the 29th of January 2022, we're going to want to make sure we keep our heads, because Venus retrograde can sometimes show the shadow side of whatever house it's in. So we are looking at the shadow side of the 8th house. Insecurity, volatility, escapism, and immaturity are the main issues that can come up with Venus retrograde. And a lot of you Gemini people may be finding that, let's talk about commerce first, let's talk about money first, that when it comes to financial arrangements or issues of shared resources, or maybe dealing with clients, customers, sales, self-employment enterprises, you may be not necessarily meshing very well with a lot of deals or a lot of the people that have become very attached to you. And sometimes things can get really personal when it comes to business. And you want to be careful, especially if you work in an industry where you may attract attention from those that might get overly involved in your state of mind or try to get overly involved in the way you do your business, or you might be finding that people are bringing their personal issues to work, right? They just bring it right onto work. And this is going to be a time where there could be a lot of clashes. and a lot of fighting going on, to be perfectly honest. Some of you may be also finding that you're attracting a lot of interest from maybe clients or customers that you don't want to attract attention to, and you might be attracting jobs or offers that you really don't resonate with. Make sure that you are more clear and more impeccable and coherent with the way that you are stating yourself, presenting yourself and your demands, so that people don't get the wrong idea and we do not allow unnecessary attachments or unnecessary problems to crop up because of this. When it comes to the realm of love and intimacy, Venus retrograde is ultimately a warning about, any kind of habit-forming activities, any kind of roller coaster activities, or escapism. This is going to be a time where you may be noticing that while things have been getting really nice, hot and heavy between you and a partner, or maybe you're attracting some really very hot and heavy new partners, we don't want this to necessarily become a drug. And there may be some things that come up during this time where we have to know when to kind of, pull back a little bit and be like, we've taken this too far, or we've gone too fast, we're doing this too much, we might be spending too much money, we may be using this as an escape mechanism, or maybe this is bringing up some internal stuff and, some stories are playing out that don't need to be played. Venus retrograde in the 8th house will force us to, face some insecurities or some old wounds as well when it comes to intimate and interpersonal exchanges. And we have to be ready and willing to do it, because the people that are going to have the most problems or start the most problems are the people that don't want to face the shadow. This will, however, not be so intense in December as it may be in January. So the more we can get taken care of in December, the better we are for it, or the better off we are for it, I should say. The sun will also be taking the edge off in December, as well as Mercury will be taking the edge off. We've got the sun in your 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections, boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, through the 21st of December, before going into that 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. And then we've also got Mercury, in the 7th house of closest partnerships as well, the first half of the month before joining the sun in the 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. So we've got a lot of support going on here regardless of that Venus influence. The sun is always bringing in attention, enhancement, and support wherever it goes. And a lot of you are finding that a lot of this month is about getting closer and more strong connections, more strongly bonded with partners of all kinds. We are attracting compatible partners. We are attracting those that ultimately are in it for the long haul and bring the best and brightest to the table. The sun is bringing a lot more levity, a lot more play to heal any kind of rifts that may be going on. And again, it may not necessarily be about romance. This could be about rifts in business partnerships, or distances or challenges or blocks in close one-on-one connections. Your BFF is important too, right? And with the sun, we are getting a chance to get back to our strongest space, or get back to our core. You're also going to be attracting a lot of people that are looking for commitment, looking for long-term commitments in any way, shape, or form during this time. But be careful with Venus retrograde. Some people who are super desperate for commitment are not able to actually, let's just say, they're not committed about being good for the commitment. So we want to make sure we are being discerning. It's not all going to be bad for you single Gemini people, but we want to be discerning, okay? Mercury is going to be allowing for more clarity here. We're going to see the signs of who is good, who is not so good for it, and also opening up communications with the strongest people possible, even people from your past. You're going to be finding that you are also building bridges with old business alliances, as well as old best friendships, right? Getting you back to your rock, getting you back to your touchstone. And for those of you who are in committed partnerships or are married right now, Mercury is also also helping to develop a completely new sense of direction for this relationship, to be not only more productive, more satisfying, but also speed you guys up towards the attainment of a deeply personal goal, maybe a big goal or ambition or aspiration that we've had as a couple, something that we want to create, something we want to build and establish ourselves in as a family or as a partnership. Mercury is helping us to speed things along in the beginning of the month to attain that goal. And when Mercury and the Sun both move into that 8th house of shared resources and passive income and intimacy and all of that, they're bringing in the money, because Mercury in the 8th house is allowing for the acquisition of wealth very, very quickly for you. It's helping you to pull in money in quantity, a lot of easy small projects, a lot of easy small opportunities, easy small income avenues that add up fast. And the Sun is actually increasing what you are getting out of those endeavors. And so it is almost a bit stormy for you Gemini people. Now you can treat the storm as an opportunity to, water and nurture and create more fertile fields for you and your partnerships and your business to thrive on, or you can be swept away. We all have free will. This is going to be a really weird month for you guys especially, but I see it as an opportunity to also get way, way ahead. So you can either use the tide to really accelerate your growth or be swept out to sea, whatever you want. We also have some other trend shifters giving some new context to this. We've got Mars in Scorpio in the first half of the month. This is your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, the teams you're on, as well as your service to the world. Mars in Scorpio the first half of the month is putting you in a position to claim some really promising new competitive opportunities or even competitive roles at the office that are going to put you a cut above, I guess, what you would consider common fare or the normal routine you've been in. Mars in Scorpio is also a time where you're going to notice that new teams are being built around you in and outside of the office. Just be mindful with Mars in Scorpio. For you, it can also be a highly competitive time, and if we're not careful, that competition can go from fun and sporting behavior to personal attacks and full-on war. We want it to be a sports game, not a war at the office, because you are going to get a chance to rake in a lot of money really, really fast. Mars is going to be probably making you do a lot of overtime, probably have a lot of take-home work in the first half of the month. But you know what? Again, we have to make the most of it because this is something that can all be turned to the good. After the 13th, Mars enters Sagittarius, that 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections. That's your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one connections to. And Mars will be here well through January. And with Mars in the 7th house, it's about knocking down walls to bring people closer together and to also give the strength and the power to the best and brightest and most committed people in your life. This is a wonderful time for those of you that are looking to get into a more productive business or working alliance with people. If you are trying to create a lot of stronger bonds with your friends, knock down social and emotional walls that have been maybe keeping you isolated or keeping you from being able to connect to people the way you want to connect, even getting a chance to get on a better foot with those that are already close friends, Mars is going to be going to work here. But with Mars in the 7th house, knocking down walls also means clearing obstacles, right? Mars is about action, passion, energy, and obstacle clearing. So the second half of this month and going into January, we're also facing a lot of challenges or a lot of elephants in the room in all of our closest one-on-one connections in the interest of clearing them for good. It can be a highly sensitive time with that Venus retrograde there. Some people might not want it to happen. Some people might feel like they are being put on the spot or judged because we're actually just calling something out or we are taking a matter on. But with Mars in Sagittarius, you've got to remember this is about strength, bonding, and more passion and more energy in the relationship, which means we need more room for that passion, we need more room for that love, we need more room for that stronger bond, and that means getting the elephants in the room out. You are also going to be finding a lot of your best friends, your closest alliances really showing up for you at this time. Really good friends, the guys, the girls showing up and maybe even helping you fight off or tackle a pervasive problem that's been hanging overhead for quite some time. Allow yourself to be helped when help is offered. Jupiter will be moving into Pisces this month, at the very, very end anyway. So we're technically looking at a 2022 aspect. And so with Jupiter moving into Pisces on the 29th, just keep that in mind. But we are seeing a shift in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, promotions, status, and prominence. With Jupiter, the planet of expansion, growth, wealth, and novelty, you are getting set up to become a much more highly influential and more highly rewarded figure in your field. With Jupiter in your 10th house all year long, essentially, with a bit of a break in the middle of next year, you are going to find that you are getting an opportunity to finally step into the field that is the most rewarding for you, whether it's within your situation of employment right now, or a lot of you may be actually getting ready to move on. We are actually stepping into one of the richest years we'll have had in about 4 years. A lot of you are all going to be feeling very, very wealthy, very secure, and possibly ready to start investing in some more loftier ambitions or more expensive endeavors that you maybe have been putting off for a long time while you wait to feel more secure or your income avenues feel a bit wider and a bit more generous. This is going to be the year where this occurs. Just a bit of a personal disclosure here. When it comes to Jupiter in the 10th house, when I had Jupiter in my 10th house, that's when I actually quit working a regular job and started doing this all the way back in 2013. And so this is the kind of security you get to go forward with a major ambition. Now, some of you may choose to use this to climb the ladder. You might actually, jump up a few steps or maybe even get into that management executive kind of status within your own field, within your own employer situation, or get, some big promotions that help you do other things. It's a wonderful aspect. It's a wonderful energy to experience. Keep in mind, I also have a video going much more in depth on Jupiter in Pisces. You can check that out, again, by going to my main channel page or following the links below. But I didn't want to leave that out because it's a great way to start wrapping up the video. Now, we do have a couple of lunations occurring as well that are also going to be big trendsetters for the first half of 2022. We have a new moon solar eclipse, which is falling in Sagittarius, your 7th house, closest one-on-one connections, boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate. And this opens up a huge window between December 4th and March 2022. This is a time with a lot of you Gemini people where, yes, there is a big stride or a big era transition occurring in love and romance in terms of a brand new beginning, a new cycle starting. A lot of you may actually find it is time to take things to the next level in a romantic relationship. Some of you may be becoming official, getting engaged, moving in together, cementing a time to get married, joining finances, taking one of those big official steps between December 4th and March, or at least getting that all locked in. Just be mindful during a Venus retrograde, it may not be the best time to commence with all of those things or get too attached to how it's going to occur, but this blessing is still absolutely here for you. And with those of you who are currently single or available, it's very, very highly likely that you are going to be finding somebody during this window to attain those kinds of transitions and culminations with. The full moon of the month is in your sign. It's your once-a-year birthday full moon, and this is all about transitions. A full moon can be about endings, moving on, and when we have a full moon in our sign, it's time to think about what we don't want to take into the next year with us. It's an opportunity to purge and set ourselves free from something that ultimately we have had a struggle giving up or releasing or taking our leave of. And because it's in your sign, you can do whatever you want with it. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to purge from your life or your lifestyle? when you take that step, when you start really putting the work in between the 18th of December and about the 4th of January, that's when you're going to see the biggest strides or the fastest results occur. So really take some time and see, what is it time to get rid of? What is it time to liberate yourself from? Because with the full moon in the first house, it's all about closing up a personal story or closing up a personal era in favor of something new. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know I appreciate it. And should you ever wish to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.